With Christmas fast approaching, the urge to buy for the smallest members of the family hits us with earnest, but research is firming up the link between fewer toys and better imaginary play. Let's take this concept to our parenting expert, Claire Orange. Good afternoon to you, Claire.
Hi, Trace.
Albert Einstein says play is the highest form of research, but kids don't need toys for that, do they, Claire?
They don't. And in fact, the fewer the better, that we know that our children are going to be more creative and more exploratory. And I think sometimes, Tracy, when we fill up our children's lives with stuff, with toys, we take away the essence of childhood brain development, which is creativity and allowing that brain to make connections with the resources in front of it.
What's the potential impact of too many toys?
Well, you know, I think kids become careless. I know certainly with my boys there's this carelessness, you know, things that they should be taking great care of. Well, there's another one and a different one and one that's a different colour. So I think children get careless. I also think they get bored very quickly. So instead of investigating and playing fully with a toy, they just move from thing to thing and never get into what we would call deep play, where they really start to engage that beautiful full capacity of the brain for exploration and creative research with that toy.
Well, how do you deal with perhaps as well with them seeing other kids with so many toys as well, and they want this and they want that? Well, that my friend's got that. How do you kind of deal with that and tell them it's actually okay, you don't need to have all these things?
Well, that's a tricky thing because, you know, of course we've got technical rules in homes and some kids are allowed to watch TV until 10. And I think it's just one of those parenting standpoints. You just wrap your boundaries around it and you say, in our home it's like this, and if you like Jemima's toys so much, when you go to her house you can play with all of them. And that's fabulous. I think we can't, as parents, do that sort of one-upmanship. Our child says, but they've got all of this stuff and I've got this, and then use that to justify. We've actually got to stick with what we know is good for our kids, and we do know that less is more for our children. Indeed.
All right, perhaps we've got a whole bunch of toys for our kids, right? Before we throw all of that out, how can we simplify playtime with them?
Right, well, I think what we need to do is figure out what sorts of toys we've got, Tracy. So have a look, parents, have a look what toys you've got. So there's toys that are sort of open-ended play toys like blocks and Lego and Duplo, where you can do all sorts of different things. And then there's toys that you can do one thing with, maybe like a puzzle. So you can only do the puzzle. There's not much you can do. Maybe a shape sorter. There's not much more you can do with that. So we should really be looking at a 75% open-ended and 25%, you know, package up your toys at home, parents, and put them away, because then when you bring them out, there's that novelty. You can play with something old like it's new. Create your own toy library, pop it away, just bring things out a little bit at a time. You don't need to throw it all out, but just bring it out a little bit at a time and rotate it with your children and give them lots of open-ended play where they have to explore, and that we know that the play is inside the child, not the play is inside the toy.
That's right. Always bringing the logical advice. Claire Orange, thank you very much for your time. We'll catch you soon.
Thanks, Trace.